It was supposed to be a fun camping trip. Corey and his friends had heard stories about the haunted forest, but they didn't believe them. They thought it was just a legend, a way to scare tourists and kids. They wanted to prove their bravery and have some adventure. They set up their tents near a clearing, surrounded by tall, dark trees. They lit a fire and roasted marshmallows, telling jokes and laughing. They didn't notice the shadows moving in the woods or the faint howls in the distance. They decided to play a game of truth or dare. Corey was the first to go. He picked dare, feeling confident. His friend Matt grinned and said,
I dare you to go into the forest and find the old cabin. It's supposed to be haunted by the ghost of a man who was killed by a Bigfoot.
Corey hesitated. He had heard of the cabin, but he didn't know if it was real or not. He didn't want to admit he was scared, but he also didn't want to go alone. He asked if he could take someone with him, but Matt shook his head.
No, you have to go by yourself. That's the dare. Don't worry, we'll wait for you here. It's not far, just follow the trail.
Corey sighed and got up. He grabbed a flashlight and a backpack and headed into the forest. He felt a chill in the air and a sense of dread. He tried to ignore it and told himself it was just a game. He followed the trail, which was marked by faded signs and broken branches. He heard the fire crackling behind him and the voices of his friends fading away. He walked for about 10 minutes until he reached a fork in the path. He looked at the signs, which were barely readable. One said cabin and the other said lake. He decided to go to the cabin, hoping to find it quickly and get back to his friends. He turned left and continued on the trail. He soon regretted his choice. The trail became narrower and steeper, and the trees became thicker and darker. He felt like he was being watched, and he heard strange noises in the forest. He heard rustling, snapping, growling, and breathing. He shone his flashlight around, but he saw nothing. He quickened his pace, hoping to reach the cabin soon. He finally saw a clearing ahead and a glimpse of a wooden structure. He felt a surge of relief and ran towards it. He reached the cabin and pushed the door open. It was dark and dusty inside and smelled of mold and decay. He saw a fireplace, a table, a chair, and a bed. He also saw a skeleton lying on the bed, holding a machete. He gasped and backed away. He realized this was the ghost of the man who was killed by a Bigfoot. He wondered how he died and why he was still here. He felt a cold hand grab his shoulder and a voice whisper in his ear.
You shouldn't have come here. He's still out there. He's coming for you.
He screamed and turned around. He saw a pale, translucent face with sunken eyes and a gaping mouth. He recognized it as the man who owned the cabin. He tried to shake him off, but he was too strong. He felt his grip tighten and his nails dig into his flesh. He felt a pain in his chest and a warmth in his back. He looked down and saw blood dripping from his body. He realized the man had stabbed him with the machete. He fell to the floor and dropped his flashlight. He saw the man standing over him, smiling. He said,
I'm sorry, but I had to do it. It's the only way to stop him. He can't get you if you're already dead.
He heard a loud roar outside and the sound of footsteps. He saw the door burst open and a huge, hairy creature enter the cabin. He saw its red eyes, its sharp teeth, its long claws. He saw it was a Bigfoot, but not like any he had ever seen. It was twisted and deformed, with scars and wounds all over its body. It was a nightmarish Bigfoot, a product of the haunted forest. It saw him lying on the floor, and the man standing next to him. It snarled and lunged at them. It grabbed the man and tore him apart. It threw his bones and flesh around the cabin and then turned to him. It bent down and sniffed him. It realized he was still alive and smiled. It said,
"You're mine now. I've been waiting for you. You're my new toy."
It picked him up and carried him outside. It ran into the forest with him in its arms. He felt its fur, its breath, its saliva. He felt its teeth, its claws, its strength. He felt its hunger, its anger, its madness. He felt his life slipping away and his mind fading. He wished he had never come to the haunted forest. He wished he had never played the game. He wished he had never met the nightmarish Bigfoot.